presentation of Fox Sports.
We are Fox Sports. We are LA.
Halos got back to their winning ways last night, taking game one against the Oakland Athletics, and tonight from the Big A, they continue to try to play good baseball and keep it on a roll as they wrap up this homestand tonight and tomorrow. Tonight it is game two of a three-game set. We welcome you inside the Big A and back to Angels baseball on Fox Sports West, along with Mark Gubiza. I'm Victor Rojas, and last night the power was on display. As a matter of fact, on both sides, a total of 5 home runs hit. But the Angels obviously made theirs count. A 2-run shot by Bandy, 3-run blast by Jeffrey Marte.
Yeah, multi-run home runs were the key. Take a look at our Cardinals cam replay. Jet Bandy with one on himself. You're talking about looking for a pitch in his zone to be able to drive, and he was able to get that fastball inner part of the plate and hits it out for a 2-run home run. Strong hitter, Jet Bandy. Barrel the bat, long way up. But not to be outdone, Jeffrey Marte with 2 on. Got a fastball, set him up, fastball first pitch, fastball again. This time he was ready for that fastball and hits it out for a 3-run home run. Both swings outstanding, the reason why the Angels won the game last night.
And Campa Jojo was able to lock it down for his first career save, and the Angels actually gave Matt Shoemaker some run support. I guess Jeff Weaver's probably hoping the fact that, or Jared, pardon me, is hoping that he gets some run support tonight.
Well, he threw the ball so well against Oakland. It may not need a whole lot what he did against them in Oakland back on June 19th. For Weaver, take a look at our tools of the trade brought to you by Ram Trucks. Weaver, outstanding. What he did so well in this game, he only had 1 strikeout. Off-speed pitches, a lot of hitters for Oakland out in front, lazy fly ball outs, a lot of pop-ups in the infield. The defense was outstanding behind it. You see some frustrating swings from Oakland. Why? Because that curveball and changeup throughout, and slider for Weaver was outstanding, picking up that first shutout he's had in quite some time on Father's Day to be able to give that to his dad. Special moment for Weave. Hopefully he has that in him again here tonight.
Must have been the alternate jersey that day. He's wearing the home whites tonight as we're just about ready for baseball here at the Big A. Sit back and relax. Lineups at first pitch when we return. This telecast of Angels baseball on Fox Sports West is brought to you by Hyundai. Great deals on amazing cars are going on now at your Hyundai dealer. Visit buyhyundai.com today. By Jack in the Box. Taste the all-new Brewhouse Bacon Burger today for limited time only at participating restaurants. By your Southern California Toyota dealers. By Mercury Insurance, on a mission to save you money. Log on to mercuryinsurance.com to get a fast free quote and see how much you can save. And by the Jeep Renegade. Find your inner renegade and reach your highest potential with an EPA estimated 31 highway miles per gallon. Getting you ready for game 2 of this 3-game set against the visiting Oakland Athletics. The Halos picking up the victory last night. And nice job by Cam Bedrosian as he struck out the side. His second career save opportunity. He was able to pick up a career save number 1. And Mike Scioscia still non-committal as to giving Cam that everyday job in the bullpen. But maybe, just maybe, he won't be needed tonight. We'll see what Jared Weaver has in store against the Oakland A's. He was very good in his last start against the Boston Red Sox. Kept a very good, aggressive team off balance for pretty much his entire stint out there.
I mean, you look at his career numbers against Oakland, 14-11 with a 2.73 ERA for Weaver against Oakland. Main reason because of his ability to throw his curveball and changeup for strikes and get some easy outs, fly ball outs with those off-speed pitches.
Yeah, he had that curveball and even the slider on a couple occasions against the Red Sox the other day working, and we'll see what he has in store for the Oakland A's. They've changed their lineup just a little bit to obviously face the right-hander that's on the mound. Coco Crisp will lead things off in center field. Max Muncy gets the start in right. Stephen Vogt behind the plate. Chris Davis, who DH'd last night and homered, is in left field. He's the cleanup hitter. Yonder Alonso at first base. Billy Butler gets a start at DH tonight. Marcus Semien at shortstop. Jed Lowry at second. And Ryan Healy will bat ninth and play third base. Taking on Jared Weaver, as we mentioned. He's making his 21st start of the season. 8-8 with a 5.14 ERA.
And we talked about how well he has thrown, especially early in the season against Oakland, up in Oakland. But my go-tos for Weaver to be successful against this A's lineup is consistency, especially with that off-speed for outs. We talked about the curveball, changeup, slider, get some easy outs with that, but also show the fastball in, not necessarily for strike, but more for effect in. You open up that outer part of the plate for that off-speed pitch.
Defensively for the Halos this evening, and a little different look with G-Man Choi at left, Mike Trout at center, Cole Calhoun at right. Escobar and Simmons on the left side. Cliff Pennington gets his first start since coming off the DL, which was prior to yesterday's game. He's at second. Marte at first. Carlos Perez behind the plate.
And you mentioned Pennington getting that start at second base. That'll be his 12th start at second base so far this year. No errors so far. And he's also turned 7 double plays from that position. No errors at 5 starts at shortstop this year also.
A couple of stints on the disabled list for Pennington this year, dealing with a nagging hamstring issue. And hopefully he can keep it together and healthy the rest of the way, and kind of show Mike Scioscia what he's capable of doing. Maybe spot starting at second, some shortstop, give Simmons a couple of days off. Anderson seems to have played a lot of games, especially since coming off the disabled list himself. And Gregorio Petit getting the starts at short while Simmons was on the mend. Coco Crisp ready to lead things off. Angels come into this one 13.5 games back in the West, a game better than the Oakland A's. Angels at 48-58, Oakland at 47-59. Coco at 242 with 10 home runs on the season, and he will look upstairs for ball one.
You talk about Crisp, especially on that first pitch fastball. We were through him the first pitch, but out of the strike zone. His numbers on 0-0 pitches when he's put in play, 217, but 4 home runs.
Ball and a strike. Coco last night getting to start in left field, back in center, his traditional spot. 2 for 4 last night, had an RBI. Mentioned that he hit a home run, his 10th. Davis, Crisp, and Alonso going deep for Oakland last night. 2 balls, 1 strike.
Missed upstairs a couple times on fastballs. That one at 86 from Weaver.
Shift on. Simmons shading Crisp up the middle. This one's fouled back. 2 balls, 2 strikes. A start against Boston for Weave. No decision. Allowed a run on 6 hits, 5 2/3 innings. 2 strikeouts, 2 walks, 104 pitches. Just his second start against Oakland this year. Somewhat of a rarity. Play within the division. Foul back.
Boy, a number of fastballs in his at bat against Crisp. Crisp, a 175 career hitter against Weaver. That's over 63 at bats, 11 for 63. A number of those at bats, including 11 strikeouts, Weaver's thrown that big curveball against him. Be able to get him out.
Breaking pitch, and that's line to right. Cole moving over, makes the catch. One down.
Tonight's big key, especially when you're going against Graveman, who's a very difficult pitcher to hit against, going a little firehouse, going glove of a lifetime. I think when certain games you just feel it's going to be up to the defense to win a game. And that guy right there, Andrelton Simmons, one of the best you're going to see using that glove, turned an unbelievable double play last night. Going to see some defensive plays, especially with Weaver around the strike zone. Defense going to be on their toes.
Firehouse, Australian band?
They were in my wheelhouse back in that 80s hair band era. 80s, 90s.
Maybe not. Think of someone else.
You thinking of? I'm trying to think of not Europe, would you?
No, not Europe.
That's your all-time favorite song.
No, not the final countdown.
Oh yes. I thought you would pick that for your karaoke song.
No chance.
Oh yeah.
Impossible to hit those notes. Broken bat, one hopper to the right side. Marte way over near second base.
Pennington's look is priceless there. He's I'm right there. Weaver's going, you realize how far I have to run now? Jams him, and you can see where Pennington is going to be right there for that base, but that's a long off-balance throw for Marte, but Weaver there to cover the base, which you're always supposed to do. Anything hit on that right side of the infield. Simmons is like, hey, go over there towards the base.
Two outs, nobody on, and Stephen Vogt, the catcher, up. Oh, 1 count on Vogt, who went 0 for 4 last night. .268 average, 8 home runs, 30 runs batted in. He pops this one up to shallow center. Trout comes in. Besides the several pitches he threw to KHRIS were rather easy. Top of the first, we'll head to the bottom of the first, scoreless. For the Angels, before they take on the right-hander Kendall Graveman. Escobar, Calhoun, and Trout in the top third of the order. Pujols at DH, Simmons at short, Choi in left. Marte at first, Perez behind the plate with Pennington. He's batting ninth and playing second base as they take on a 25-year-old right-hander native of Alexander City, Alabama by the name of Kendall Graveman.
And Graveman's got a power sinker, also slider, cut fastball, split finger fastball. My go-tos to be successful against Graveman is you got to bring that fastball in the zone, bring that up in the strike zone, and machine time. Albert Pujols, the machine, with very good career numbers against Graveman. 385 batting average.
Escobar swinging first pitch, fouls it back. YUNEL last night 1 for 3. Batting average still at .322. 3 home runs and 32 runs batted in. No balls, 2 strikes. Altuve still leading the way in the American League with a .360 batting average at the start of the day. ESCOBAR just a point behind Xander Bogaerts. 0-2. Misses. 1 ball, 2 strikes. 6th career start for Kendall Graveman against the Angels. He's 1-1 with a .205 ERA. This is 4th start this year. 2-2.
He's got that power fastball. That's 2-seamer. 89-94 cut fastball. I mentioned that throws that about 31% of the time. Slider, split finger fastball when he's ahead of the count.
Punch to the right side. That's Jed Lowrie moving over. 1 down. Check out the defense for the Athletics this evening. Davis, Crisp, and Muncy the outfield from left to right. It's Healy, Simeon, Lowrie, and Alonso from third to first. Vote behind the plate. And Simeon at shortstop had that tough night last night, a couple errors, but he's been pretty good this season. .969 fielding percentage, up considerably, up 22 points from last year. 2 errors in that game last night. 16 on the season as compared to 35 last year. He does have a lot of range, strong throwing arm. It's really just coming down to at times just taking the eye off the baseball. Hit the heel of the glove a couple times last night. Cole takes downstairs. Hitless last night, going 0 for 4. .275 overall batting average. He shift on him. He fouls this one back to the left. 1 ball, 1 strike. Lowrie way out in shallow right. Simeon on the second base side of the bag. On the outside corner for strike.
Nick Graveman's on that first base side of the pitching rubber. Reason why you do that, especially for a sinker ball pitcher, so you can throw an occasional fastball into a left-handed batter, but also has that ability to run that 2-seamer down and away. Also, you see where he starts. Generally, right-handed pitcher will start on the third base side of the rubber.
That's a called strike 3. Cole doesn't like the call, and there are 2 down.
Center fielder, number 27.
Fans, this broadcast of Angels baseball being broadcast on AFM, the American Forces Network, broadcasting to the U.S. Armed Forces serving around the world on land and on ships at sea. We welcome you, and as always, we thank you for your continued service.
And Victor, that's the exact reason why Graveman has moved over to that first base side of the pitching rubber, to throw that 2-seamer into a left-handed batter and freeze him and catch the corner.
Trout swinging first pitch, fouls it off. Mike had a hit last night going 1 for 2. Also drew a couple of walks. It's a nasty little pitch there. Cut fastball, slider.
You talk about having a fastball that go east and west on the plate throughout. 2-seamer in, cutter away.
There's a called strike 3. And that pitch was set up by the previous one. Little cut action. Couple of strikeouts for Graveman. We'll head to the second, scoreless. top of the second inning. Stay tuned later tonight on the post-game show for the business of sports, brought to you by AutoNation.com and powered by Toyota Cerritos. Chris Davis to lead things off. Those starting pitchers with 1, 2, 3 firsts. With a couple of flyouts and a ground out. Graveman with a couple of strikeouts. Davis swinging first pitch. He pulled that one foul. Homered last night, his 27th of the year.
Weaver knows he got away with that. It was a hanging slider on the inner half of the plate. By design for a right-handed pitcher against a right-handed batter, that slider goes down and away, not in. Kind of like that action on that fastball from Weaver.
Ball and a strike. Davis, as we mentioned, DH last night, went 2 for 4. Had 1 RBI. Angels played the full shift on him with 3 guys on the left. That's off the mask of Perez. 1 and 2.
What you're seeing as this season has progressed for Weaver, a little more consistency in his velocity on his fastball. It's not 90s anymore, but we've seen some 86-mile-an-hour fastballs of late from Weaver go along with 84. Sets up his curveball and changeup that much more so.
He's feeling pretty good with the fastball tonight. At least he's throwing quite a few of them. Breaking pitch, hooked in past the diving Andrelton Simmons for a leadoff single. And shepherded by Simmons.
You know, it was that slider again. It was upper part of the strike zone. Simmons almost able to get to that baseball. Anything hit close to him. We're so used to him catching. Almost able to catch that line drive by Davis.
Chris Davis came in batting .324 against the Angels through 9 games this year. 11 for 34, now 12 for 35 with 4 home runs and 7 runs batted in. Weaver worked from the stretch for the first time. Here's Yonder Alonso, the first baseman. Had a home run last night. 2-run shot. That was off J.C. Ramirez in the 8th inning. They brought the A's within a run. His 5th of the year. Two balls, no strikes. Davis just 1 stolen base, but caught once.
A lot of those fastballs so far from Weaver have been up and out of the strike zone. Generally, when you see Weaver doing that, it means his elbow is dropping just a little bit. Talked about how he's going back to a more 3/4 arm delivery that he had back at Long Beach State. And when he drops that elbow, that elevates the fastball more so.
3-1. Gary Cedarstrom, the crew chief, calling the balls and strikes tonight. That is ripped into the right field corner area. Cole over to cut it off, does so on the backhand, fires it back in. It'll hold Alonso to a long single. Davis ends up at third.
Nice play by Cole to be able to cut that off to keep a double play in order, especially with Billy Butler coming up next. Break a ball in the outer half of the plate. Alonso stayed back on that one well and hooks it right down the right field corner, but played extremely well by Cole Calhoun, holding to a single.
Nobody out of the first 2 have reached for Oakland to start the second.
And both hits this inning have been sliders that have been hit by a right-handed batter, now a left-handed batter against Weaver in this inning.
Butler with the night off last night, hitting .276, has 4 home runs, 27 RBIs on the year. 3 for 18 against the Angels this season. And he will look at a strike. Butler's grounded into 8 double plays this year. Ground ball back up the middle. Pennington will take it himself. Touches second, fires the first. High throw. Marte applies the tag for the double plays. Davis crosses the plate. The Angels get 2 outs, but Oakland takes a 1-0 lead.
Yeah, but you'll take that, especially early in the game. You're willing to necessarily, you don't like to give up runs, but you'll take that as far as a ground ball double play. Now with no one on, we will go back to the full windup. High throw. Marte is able to apply the tag. Seemed like when he stepped on the base, Pennington had forced that elbow up and elevated his throw before the tag is applied by Marte against Butler.
Marcus Semien at play with a 1-0 count. The shortstop. .234 average for Semien. He skies one to left. Weaver may have gotten away with one. Towering pop-up. Trout makes the call on the catch. Just like that, Weaver allows just 1 run and avoids big trouble. We'll head to the bottom of the second with Oakland leading it. At the bottom of the second inning, Kendall Graveman had himself a 1-2-3 first with a couple of strikeouts, and here in the second he'll face Pujols, Simmons, and Choi. And Albert will take a strike.
He takes that first pitch. Albert in the lowest percentage of first pitch swinging. A goal against Graveman today was a swing early in the count, but Albert taking that first pitch.
Chopper back toward the middle, and that's LOWRIE, the second baseman, off balance throw, and Alonso digs it out. Pujols retired for the first out.
Time now for a Honda helpful moment. Anderson Simmons coming to the plate. It was last night's great play. Tough in-between hop by Simmons, who steps on the base and completes a 6-3 double play. What a play that was. A very difficult hop that Simmons made look easy, as usual, at that shortstop position.
They'll look at a first pitch strike. 281 average for Simmons, a home run. 23 runs batted in. He's also chipped in 16 doubles. 2-1 count.
Simmons 2 for 7 in his career versus Graveman. It's a .286 batting average, .292 career hitter for Simmons against Oakland pitching.
He'll shoot this one into right field for a single. First base runner of the game for the Angels. Hey, get your red on as the Angels take on the Mariners on Monday, August 15th at 7:05. Fans in attendance will receive a Panama golf hat courtesy of San Diego Zoo Safari Park while supplies last. Go to angels.com/promotions and get your tickets. One out, one on for Ji-Man Choi, who had the night off last night. G-Man in left field tonight. Take a strike. Generous strike zone tonight for Gary Seastrom, calling all the corners.
Generally known as a guy more of a hitter's umpire. Thing with Graveman, he is very quick to the plate, very difficult to steal against. He's allowed 5 stolen bases in 7 attempts. The season has 1 pickoff, but because he's generally downstairs and throws a lot of fastballs, lower part of the strike zone, a hit and run may be a better opportunity to move a runner.
2-1 count. Vogt's going to go out and talk things over with Graveman. Right-hander had his career high winning streak of 6 snapped in his last start. That was at Cleveland. He gave up 4 runs, 3 earned, 6 1/3. That his 21st start of the year. Originally an 8th round pick in 2013 by the Blue Jays out of Mississippi State. Quick throw over. Simmons is back.
Oakland anticipating a hit and run put on by Mike Scioscia now.
Simmons doesn't go, and Choi takes ball 3.
And just the thought of that force, you could tell Graveman would try to be even quicker to the plate, and that pitch well off the outside corner.
Simmons takes off, and that's ball 4. So first and second with 1 out. Jeffrey Marte coming to the plate.
First baseman, number 19, Jeffrey Marte.
Expect Marte, who's generally an aggressive hitter, to look first pitch fastball to do some damage here.
2 for 4 game last night. Take his average to 250. Swinging first pitch, skies one to right. Max Muncy moving over into foul territory will make the catch. Simmons will tag and head to third. There are 2 outs. Nice play by Muncy dealing with that wall.
Yeah, good coverage. He had to go a long way.
Catcher number 50.
Slams into that wall. Tries to get in quickly, but Simmons good base running there. Getting into scoring, get to third base, especially to take away a potential wild pitch. Break a ball in the dirt.
Carlos Perez will take a strike. Carlos getting the start tonight behind the plate. Chip Bandy getting the night off. Giovanni Soto on his way to a rehab assignment. Hope to see him at some point soon. This one back up the middle. Lowry to the backhand will feed Simeon. It's a bad throw, and the Angels will tie the score at 1.
I don't think Simeon was anticipating that throw. He thought that Lowry would throw that across the diamond and try to get Perez at first.
I'm not sure Lowry has the strength in his arm to make that play all across the first.
See the hesitation by Simeon, then has to try to reach back, not only catch the baseball, but find the base also. Break there for the Angels. Should be an infield hit.
And it is. So a 1-1 tie here in the second. And it's Cliff Pennington up. Carlos gets credited with an RBI. 27th. Pennington fouls off the first one.
We're just talking to Paul Sorrento and Dave Hansen what their approach is going to be against Graveman. Be aggressive early, especially a lot of first pitch fastballs. We've seen that throughout this game already. Dave Hansen, a very good job along with Paul Sorrento with the hitters this year. Second highest batting average in the American League, 269 coming into the game tonight. Only Boston with a higher batting average at 286.
Pennington playing in his 29th game. Got it at bat last night. It grounded out. Very first pitch he saw. Take a strike and it's 0-2.
Now let's take a look at In the Driver's Seat, brought to you by Kia, talking about the offense since the All-Star break. 11-6 mark, second best in the AL. 5.1 runs per game, second best in the American League. Have allowed 2 or fewer runs in 8 of the 17 games since the All-Star break.
Rolled foul. Troy back to second and Perez back to first. Count remains 0-2 on Pennington. Former first-round pick of the Oakland Athletics. That was back 2005 out of Texas A&M. Best season for Cliff. Can't even really, I guess in a full season. 264 as a member of the A's, 2011. Career high 8 home runs, 58 runs batted in as he takes low. Last year splitting time between the Diamondbacks and the Blue Jays.
By the way, how important was that base running by Simmons to be able to tag up from second to third on that fly ball that Muncy ran down the right field corner? If he stays at second, his base is loaded. Instead, a run scored on an infield hit by Carlos Perez.
Popped him up. Healy, the third baseman, backpedaling. It's Marcus Semien moving over. The shortstop will make the catch. And that was a long run for him since he was playing the shift. Halos tied up as we head to the third. It's a 1-1 game. the bottom of the second inning, and it'll be Jet Lowrie to lead things off against Jared Weaver here in the third. 8-9-1. Lowrie, Healy, and Crisp. One ball, one strike on the second baseman. Lowrie batting in the 2 spot last night, ended up going 0 for 5. Average of 263 as he fouls this one off.
Weaver always around the strike zone consistently throughout his career. Certainly this season, 52.6% of his pitches are in the strike zone. 5th highest in the majors. Especially with his ability to throw the curveball and changeup for strikes.
This was lined to center field, a base hit to lead off the third. Hey, join us for Ducks Night on August 16th. Angels taking on the Mariners at 7:05. Just go to angels.com/ducks to purchase an exclusive ticket package that includes a ticket to the game and a co-branded hat. Visit angels.com/ducks for more info.
That's a cool looking hat.
Ducktober is right around the corner.
Yes, it is.
Ryan Healy looks at a strike. Healy had an 0 for 3 night last night. He fouls this one off.
Well, we had a lot of friends and family attend the game last night. We were 31 pitches thrown, 22 strikes. Talked about that percentage of pitches in the strike zone. It's been consistent throughout this game so far for Weaver.
Popped him up. Foul territory. Perez moving over near the on deck circle, makes the catch for the first out.
Solid play dealing with the on deck circle, the bats, everything there, and still looking that baseball into the glove and going a long way because that pop up was not hit high. Carlos able to run that one down. Weaver throws that fastball in, jams Healy. See how quickly he throws that mass. Looks exactly where he needs to go. Gets there, makes the play.
So 1 out, 1 on. Top of the order now, Coco Crisp at the plate. Coco, a fly ball out to right field. His first at bat takes low. Escobar cheating in over third base just in case Chris has any ideas of dropping one down. Cuts through the off speed.
Real good changeup. Hasn't thrown a lot of changeup so far.
Quick throw to first. Lowrie back. Yet to attempt a stolen base this year. Home run that Crisp hit last night, 3rd time in his last 5 games. 10th of the year. Way outside. Two balls, one strike.
Well, Weaver hasn't thrown a lot of pitches out of the strike zone. He's thrown 36 so far, 24 strikes, 12 out of the strike zone, but a majority of the pitches out of the strike zone have been his fastball, especially upstairs.
Lowrie with a leadoff single standing at first. Here's 3-1. Little cue shot back toward the mound. Barehanded, fires to first. They get KHRIS for the out. Lowrie advances to second.
It's played by Weaver under control. Right away, Carlos Perez pointing to Weaver to make the play. Off the end of the bat, change up. Weaver pushes that down in the grass. Good throw to first base. That's what you always try to do when you're fielding a slow roller like that as a pitcher. You push it down into the grass and then get a grip of the baseball and then fire over to first.
Man in scoring position for Max Muncy. Broke his bat, grounded out his first plate appearance. Cuts through the first one. A good changeup from Weaver. Muncy, a North Texas native out of Keller, Texas. That's in the Dallas-Fort Worth area, to Baylor University. Count even up on him, and a ball at a strike. Guy can play the corner infield spots, playing some outfield. And to 45 games last year with Oakland. Grounds this one off the glove, and that's going to go as an infield base hit. Lowrie will advance over to third.
Catcher number 21, Stephen.
And off the end of the bat, Weaver had a chance to make that play on. That's the baseball you want hit to your glove side as a pitcher. Better chance to react on that one off the glove, though, for Weaver unable to make the play. You got to forget about that as quick as possible and not allow that to have a carryover against Stephen Vogt, who has very good career numbers against Weaver. 9 for 29, including 2 home runs.
Weaver got him to pop up to shallow center field in his first at bat. Takes upstairs. Vogt, the pride of Azusa Pacific University. Now 31 years of age. He hammers one, but foul down the right field line.
Isn't that where Christian Okoye went to?
Yep. Oh yeah, Nigerian nitrate. Yes, sir. Former Chief.
Yes. Can you imagine trying to tackle him?
No. 12th round pick by the Rays out of Azusa back in 07. 1-1. A good off speed. Lowrie at third. Muncy at first. 1-1 time. We're in the third. Muncy takes off. Vogt cues this one over to third. Bobbled by Escobar. And everybody will reach safely. It's 2-1 Oakland. It's an error on Escobar all the way. And no RBI for Vogt.
And spin on the baseball off the end of the bat by Vogt. Plenty of time to get in position to make this play. You see the spin off the heel of the glove and off the body. And Vogt running hard down the line. Ends up beating that one out.
So first and second, 2 outs, and here's Chris Davis. Slow breaking ball for a strike. Foul back.
And a slider again, very similar to the pitch. Davis lined it in the left field, just past Simmons at short.
That's a call, strike 3. Locked him up with a fastball in. Weaver threw a couple extra outs in this one. Oakland retakes the lead. It's 2-1. Rising star Yair Rodriguez takes on Alex Bruce Leroy Caceres. UFC Fight Night begins this Saturday, 4 p.m. Pacific on FS1, or watch it live on Fox Sports Go. Top of the order, YUNEL Escobar, and he swings the first pitch, chops one to the right side, and that'll sneak through for a leadoff single.
In that aggressive approach against Graveman, getting a fastball and hit the ball the other way. He stays back so well on the baseball, looking to drive the ball up the middle to right center field. Escobar so well. And another base hit. Staying back on the baseball as well as he has this entire season. His 124th base hit this season for the Angels. This is one guy right now the Angels like to see get hot once again in Cole Calhoun. .267 batting average, including a home run against Graveman.
Fouls this one off. Evens a count. Ball and a strike. Cole struck out looking in the first. 2 strikeouts that Graveman's picked up tonight came in the first. Calhoun and Trout in that inning.
A lot of room on that left side of the infield, especially for Cole against Graveman with that two-seam fastball. See how much room he has to be able to hit a baseball that part of the field, be able to consistently drive that ball. When he's on his game, Cole, he is driving the ball on the ground or in the air to that side of the infield, especially against a two-seamer running down and away.
Quick throw to first, and back is Escobar. Outside. He's had some issues on lefties throwing that fastball away. Didn't have a problem throwing that fastball in on Cole in the first at bat.
That was an odd looking pitch, almost like that was a split finger fastball he threw. Uses that pitch as his changeup.
Leadoff single for Escobar. That is driven out toward left center field, hit well, tailing away from Coco. Seems to be tracking it, steps on the track, makes the catch. Escobar tagging, heading to second, and he is in there safely.
Boy,
good
Cole,
piece of hitting by Cole.
Yeah, last couple of the nights he's driven the ball very well. Just a matter of time before he gets on one of those hot streaks now. That's a perfect swing. He doesn't get anything to show for it other than be able to advance Escobar. That's a fastball down and away, and he drives that ball very, very well to left center field, but crisp, able to run that down on the warning track, but deep enough to allow Escobar to get into scoring position for Trout. It's one of those looks as a hitter, you're frustrated because you're still trying to get hot again and get some hits going, hit the ball well, but run down by an outfielder.
Hashtag Marine Laird.
No.
No, I know. I'm just kidding. Trout takes it low. Too soon?
Never.
Trout struck out looking to end the first. Gets away from Vogt. Escobar will advance.
Overthrown cut fastball. One of those plays, though, if you ask Stephen Vogt, you would say he should be able to make the play on that one.
Pass ball on Stephen Vogt. And Oakland bringing their infield in with Trout at the plate and a 2-0 count. Trout flips one out to right center field. That'll get down for a hit. Escobar will score easily. We're tied at 2. RBI single for Trout.
.67 RBIs. Pretty good base running there by Escobar. First tagging up. We get the second base in that long fly by Calhoun. Advances on a pass ball, then eventually scores here. And that base hit in the right field by Trout. You see that late movement. Trout was looking away to drive the ball, but that late movement had jammed him enough. But Trout's strong. It's a base hit and an RBI out of it.
That's a 2-0 swing.
That's pretty good indication
right.
of that fastball and the movement that Graveman has.
That's Mike Trout looking fastball on a 2-0 count
and getting it
jammed,
and looking away like that also, but that late movement. So the back and forth already in this game. Oakland scores 1 in the top of the second. The Angels score 1 in the bottom of the second. Oakland scores 1 in the top of the third. The Angels so far 1 in the bottom of the third.
Albert pulls this one past Healy into the left. So back-to-back hits. And the Angels have 2 on now. And Simmons coming up.
Shortstop, number 2, Andrelton Simmons.
Albert stays down on that fastball, 93 lower part of the strike zone, and gets it by Healy at third base. And you're going to have the bunch hits together against Graveman. He doesn't give up a lot of home runs, although he's given up 14. Generally, that means he's made mistakes up in the strike zone. But when he's down in the lower part of the strike zone, very difficult to elevate that and hit it out of the ballpark.
Albert now 6 for 15 in his career against Graveman with a home run. There's Simmons. Andrelton with a base hit. His first plate appearance will take a strike.
We can hear that pop in that glove all the way up here at 94 from Graveman.
Coming over from the Blue Jays prior to last year. That was part of the Josh Donaldson trade. Did not go. 1-1. There, Cooper over at first. Oakland with 4 hits, the Angels with 5. We're in the third inning. This one's out towards center field. We'll chase Chris back a couple of steps. 2 down. Travel tag and head to third.
He's got that fastball in just enough. Again, when it's upper part of the strike zone, you can square that up pretty well, and Simmons did that against Graveman.
First and third, 2 down. A G-Man Choi coming up. G-Man worked a walk. His first plate appearance. Takes upstairs. It's the only walk that Graveman has allowed.
Cedarstrom has called that fastball inside against left-handed batters throughout this game. Both of those could have easily been called out of the strike zone.
Pujols on the move as Choi fouls it off. And Choi will go down swinging to end the inning. The Angels tie it up as we head to the fourth. It's a 2-2 game. Here at the Big A. Hey, host a business function or celebrate a special occasion in your own private suite here at the Big A. Suite rentals offer all-inclusive food and beverage packages. Go to angels.com/suites for more information.
That sounded pretty good.
Yeah,
you read that one well.
I read that as if we just dimmed the lights and started playing soft music.
Yes.
Where'd that come from?
Read it well.
Private
I think
suite.
I think you were thinking of Firehouse songs.
Oh, yeah, the VIP.
Yes.
Yonder Alonso takes ball one. Alonso, Butler, Simeon for Oakland here in the fourth inning. 1 for 1 with a base hit in his first at bat. Two balls and a strike. Alonso his first season with Oakland after being acquired an offseason deal with the Padres. It's a breaking ball and grounds it. Gloved and knocked out of the glove. Simmons is there. He'll fire it at Weaver, but still Alonso will reach. And again, Jeffrey Marte going far to his right, and Pennington with a shift on would have been there in the grass.
Again, you can see the reaction from Pennington, knowing that's exactly where he was going to end up being. See where Simmons is at. And Pennington not only was going to get to that baseball, he was going to get in front of that baseball.
Someone just needs to give Marte the memo that anything to your right, just let the other guys take care of it.
Again, it comes down to just like a pitcher. You look back where your middle infielders are set up. As a first baseman, you look around where your second baseman is located, especially with a shift on, where you could be located to not have to go after that baseball, just get right back to the bag.
Feel bad for Weaver because although nothing's really blown up on him as of yet, like death by paper cuts the last 3 outs.
And especially for Weave, you know, you're getting that pitch count up, still very manageable at 52 at this point, but still you want to save a couple of those good throws you have when you need it with runners in scoring position at some point later in the game.
Ball and a strike on Butler. Grounded into a double play in his first plate appearance. 1-2.
That changeup right down the heart of the plate. Butler fell that one straight back. Tell by his reaction, knew he had a pitch to drive and missed it.
One-two. Breaking pitch, fouled off. Weaver at 56 pitches, 39 for strikes. One strikeout for Jared. 5 hits allowed.
And another fastball up and out of the strike zone for Weave tonight.
You've talked about the breaking ball being a good neutralizer to get you back mechanics wise. And that's been a pretty good pitch for him tonight. Another fastball upstairs, full count.
Alonso doesn't run a lot of two stolen bases in 3 attempts. Been on a 3-2 count with Butler, who generally will make contact, but a guy who would roll into a double play has done that already tonight. You might see him on the move.
This will be the 9th pitch of the plate appearance. Alonso may have slipped a little bit getting back to the base.
You wonder if he almost ran into, as he dove back to first, into Marte's leg.
Yonder's on the move. Butler fouls it back. Full count. Alonso over at first. He takes off again. Butler drives this one up to the alley in left center field. Trout over to cut it off. Does so. Alonso ends up at third. And the A's have runners at first and third with nobody out.
Shortstop, number 10, Marcus Simeon.
Down, he got that slider. Drove it into left center field. Very long at bat for Butler against Weaver.
Simeon pops it up. But if this stays in play, Marte's got an opportunity here. That's a huge out. The first one of this inning.
Especially against a guy with good numbers against Weaver. And he still have a double play in order. And a Hyundai key for this game. Glove of a lifetime. Talking about a defensive play may be needed in this game for the Angels. Graven's been throwing the ball pretty well. Weaver trying to battle his way himself. Could use a good defensive play here potentially for a double play to get him through this with no damage.
Lowry with a base hit in his first at bat. As Alonso at third and Butler at first. How frustrating must it be for Weaver right now, unable to get that fastball down in the zone.
And he feels good about the velocity on it. He's getting some good life on it, but again, he's dropping his elbow just enough. That 3/4 delivery he has now has certainly improved the velocity, but he's dropping his elbow enough to elevate.
Lowry pops it up. Shallow left field. G-Man Choi on his way in. 2 down.
Well, it's amazing when you just watch. It's just fun to watch whatever Simmons does during the course of a play. Fly ball, shallow left. He knows that Escobar is going to be the cutoff man. He gets over to third base just in case Alonso starts to drift and tries to tag, and it could be a play. He's not a spectator. He's running right towards third. He's always in a position to help a team defensively. Just love the way he plays the game. If you're a youngster watching at home, watch Simmons play the game of baseball. He is always there thinking ahead and being in the right position.
So 2 outs, runners still at the corners. And it's Ryan Healy, the third baseman, who popped down his first at bat. He drives this one out toward right center field. Towering shot, chasing Trout back. He's on the warning track. He'll reach up and it's off his glove. 1 run in. Butler coming in to score. Healy with a 2 RBI double. And Oakland is back on top 4-2.
Center fielder, number 4.
Boy, Trout, you see how far he's got to go. He's trying to track this baseball down. He's at the warning track, reaches up and off his glove. Just off the end of the glove, just before he's at the wall.
Healy picks up his 4th double. 8th and 9th runs batted in. Coco will line one foul. 0-1 count. And while Trout had a long way to go, he certainly made up a lot of ground.
Yeah, off the bat, I thought that was in jeopardy off the bat. You can see how strong he is going the other way. It's that ball to the warning track in right center field.
Coco rips one out to right field. That'll get down for a hit. Healy is going to be stopped at third. Cole gets the baseball back in quickly.
Cole did a nice job at getting around that baseball to be able to charge, to have a lot of momentum going, to have that perfect throw towards the plate. Healy would have been out by quite a bit. Cole with 6 outfield assists this season in right field.
8 hits now for Oakland. It's Max Muncy at the plate. 1 for 2.
Very good decision by Ron Washington to hold Healy at third base. Generally a very aggressive third base coach that knows that arm strength and the accuracy of Cole Calhoun in right.
Crisp on the move, no throw. It's a stolen base.
Chris with a big jump. No reason to throw that baseball to Carlos Perez. Trying to catch the youngster Healy and see if he was far enough away from the base to throw back to third instead of to second. It's a good decision.
Two on to Muncy. Down low, 3-1. This will be the 25th pitch thrown by Weaver this inning. Little cue shot toward third. Escobar is going to have to hurry on this one. And they get that third and final out, but Healy snaps the tie. 2 RBI double as we head to the bottom of the 4th inning. Oakland up 4-2. The fourth inning, the Angels at least have been able the last couple of innings to answer the call. See if they can do that here in the fourth as we welcome inside our broadcast booth. And of course, we did get some news today on two fronts. Nick Tropiano is going to go ahead and have Tommy John surgery, so he's going to be out pretty much all of next year. Get ready for 2018. Garrett Richards, on the other hand, the Angels got some good news on him. Stem cell is working for him. He got the okay to kind of start advancing his workout.
Yeah, he had a big smile on his face today. Yeah, they're showing some healing, even more so than the last time he got checked by the doctor. He's in the process now, maybe throwing a baseball in a few weeks. Potentially, you might see him in the fall league in Arizona to make sure that arm is going to be strong enough for the 2017 season when he gets out there in spring training in Tempe. But good news for Richards.
Yeah, ideally, you get the opportunity to throw and see if he's capable of doing it and withstand the torque. Make sure that there's no pain or further damage, and come November they can make a final determination. He's good to go into spring training, or let's go ahead and have the surgery if necessary.
And that makes some decisions a little bit easier for Billy Epler during the offseason if they feel that Richards is going to be back, be a big part of that rotation again. Again, he talked, I had a long conversation about the difference in those tears in that elbow. He talked about his being more of a horizontal, little flat tearing in the elbow, which is better as far as the stem cell shot, and that's been working so far.
Three-one count on Marte. 0 for 1 with a fly out in his first at bat. Full count.
And that's another indication of how much that fastball moves. Fastball count, Marte, very good fastball hitter. 93. It started on the outside part of the plate and ran middle, but enough movement to throw off the swing of Marte.
He drives this one out toward right center field. This will chase Coco back. He's on the warning track. He'll pull up. Gone! Big fly for Jeffrey Marte. Goes the opposite way. And it draws the Angels within a run. It's 4-3 Oakland.
Another good swing going the other way. 8th home run for Marte. Big reason. Talked about trying to get that fastball elevated upper part of the strike zone. Is exactly where this pitch was. Upper part of the strike zone, stays back on it well. So inside out approach, gets the barrel that hits that one out. Foot down, but look at exactly where that swing path is for Marte. Is he able to get that high fastball and drive it out to right center field? Pretty good carry out there.
Second time this season that he's gone big fly in back-to-back games. Did it on June 8th and 9th against the New York Yankees in New York. But it's 4-3 Oakland. We said the Angels have answered each time that Oakland has gotten on the board. Here's Carlos Perez. Chopper left side. Healy has it. One down.
See this home run pitch right here from Graven, upper part of the strike zone. If you stop at upper part, and that's exactly what he was able to do, able to get the barrel of the bat on that baseball because it's elevated, and he drives that one out to right center field. Great job, guys, stopping that pitch, upper part of the strike zone. When you can drive the ball against Graven, it's going to be upper part of the strike zone. Downstairs, you have to hit the ball on the ground.
Pennington 0 for 1. Pop up into shallow left, his first at bat. And he hammers one out to right center field, and we are tied at 4. Cliff Pennington with his second big fly of the season.
Well, this time it's a fastball lower part of the strike zone, but middle in against Pennington. On a swing right here, a perfect swing from Cliff Pennington. Drives that out to right center field. It's our top tier play of the game, brought to you by Arco. Opens up the hips, the barrel of the bat, and the lift to right center field for Cliff Pennington. Good leverage on that swing. That back leg to create the drive and hits it out, well out to right center field.
Escobar will look at a strike. He's now 1 for 2.
Now, what'd you say about the offense responding right back? They did so with some big flags.
My bad. Check swing. They wanted appeal. He went around. 0-2 on Escobar. It's the third time this year that Graveman's allowed 2 or more home runs in a game. Season high is 4 at Baltimore. As a matter of fact, all 3 games in which he's given up 2 or more home runs have been on the road. At Baltimore, at Detroit, now here at the Big A's. Escobar lines with his center. Coco goes dead in his tracks, puts it away for the out.
Even that baseball was hit hard by Escobar. Again, he's given up 8 home runs to right-handed batters, 8 home runs to left-handed batters this season now with 16 total. Very impressive swing from Marte.
Two outs of Cole Calhoun up.
Cole had a very good swing his last at bat. Drove Coco Crisp to the warning track in center field. That split finger changeup from Graveman. Hasn't thrown a lot of those tonight.
Two-0. Downstairs, 3 balls, no strikes.
I expect Cole to get the green light here.
Triggs getting ready for Oakland. Trout on deck. And a strike. 3-1. Ground ball into the shift. That's Jed Lowrie out in shallow right. Then he comes to an end with the Angels. A couple of solo home runs by Jeffrey Marte. Cliff Pennington tying things up.
Both swings on fastballs from Graveman, and both with some serious sound and distance.
Brew. We believe in making the world a better place. That's why we donate to causes we care about. By El Pollo Loco, try the new overstuffed quesadillas today. By Morongo Casino Resort and Spa, good times. And by Nissan. Choose Nissan today for great offers on our most exciting lineup ever. Shop at ChooseNissan.com. Tied at 4 as we start the 5th inning, and Stephen Vogt cutting through the first pitch to start this 5th inning for Oakland. 3, 4, and 5 for the A's. Vogt, Davis, and Alonso to face Jared Weaver. 73 pitches, 50 for strikes for Weaver. This is hit and beats the shift on the right side. Stephen Vogt is on board to lead off this 5th inning.
It's one of those high fastballs, upper part of the strike zone, middle part of the plate.
Left fielder, number 2, Chris Davis.
And Weaver's been in trouble pretty much every inning. The leadoff man has reached from the 2nd through now the 5th inning. At a 1-2-3 first. Davis grounds one to short. Simmons to Pennington to Marte. Bad throw, but Jeffrey applies the tag. They get the double play, 2 outs.
A couple times throws from Pennington in the second base bag have been offline, but Marte has saved them. Good feed too from Simmons. Gets it, keep that in front. Perfect feed. That's exactly where you want to throw it, right around letter high, but again underneath the throw. And Marte saves him to complete a 6-4-3 double play. As a shortstop, if you're watching at home, watch how Simmons fields ground balls right at him, keeps it in front of him, has the leg down. We'll always be able to, no matter what kind of hop, we'll keep that baseball in front of him.
Pretty good pitch.
Yeah.
Weaver doesn't get the call, and it's a 1-0 count. Down to Alonso, 2 for 2 with a couple of singles. He skies one to right, just out in front of it. Playable for Cole. So Weaver faces the minimum 3 because of that big double play. The Angels will set up Trout, Pujols, and Simmons in a tie game. You can look at both of them because there's a lot of hits. Oakland with 9, the Angels with 7 of them. No multi-hit games as of yet. But you've got Trout, Pujols, and Simmons coming up this inning. Jared Weaver, a fairly quick inning for him as Trout takes inside for ball 1. With the leadoff single, the double play on the flyout.
Trout was looking to swing at that first pitch fastball. Again, doesn't swing at the first pitch a lot, but he was guessing fastball, but that one had too much run on it.
Weaver ended up throwing just 5 pitches. Top of this inning. Andrew Triggs was warming last inning. Nobody playing catch as of yet. Trout breaks his bad lines, but softly beyond the reach of Lowrie. Man, he thought off the bat that was a fairly easy play for the out. And it'll go as a leadoff single.
Almost see more of the angle that Jed Lowrie took for this off the end of the bat. Shatters the bat. And off the end of the glove. Play that off the bat thought he was going to be able to run that one down. Unfortunately for Trout and the Angels, does not. Doing the leadoff single. A lot of room on that right side of the infield for Pujols also.
Albert takes a fastball up and in. Albert 1 for 2. Ground down and a base hit. Trout takes off and Albert shoots one out to right field. Muncie's not going to get there. It'll get bombed toward the corner. Trout's going to come in to score easily. Albert is on his way to second. It's an RBI double. Halos up 5-4.
Love what the Angels did there. Trout on the move. Albert thinking the other way. He's been very, very effective using the entire field of late. That line drive, the right field, driving in Trout. Great base running by Trout also. Trout on the move. Fastball inside out, trying to hit the ball that way by Albert, and doubles the right. Driving in Mike Trout for his 82nd RBI.
Bob Melvin's seen enough of Kendall Graveman. He departs. He's going to the bullpen. A pitching change as we take a look at the all-time extra base hit list. Now Albert Pujols at 9th. Coming up on Ken Griffey Jr. and Rafi Palmeiro. A pitching change and the Halos up 5-4. Four here in the bottom of the 5th inning. Kendall Graveman, 75 pitches, 3 strikeouts, a walk, 9 hits, 5 runs. In 4+ innings, he's responsible for Pujols standing at second base. The first time that Graveman's allowed 5 runs since his start at Houston on June the 4th. And it's Andrew Triggs, the right-hander, on a relief here. Our in and out. Who's in, who's out? Triggs pitching in his 17th big league game this year. No record of .583 ERA. 30 strikeouts at 29 1/3. Facing Andrelton Simmons.
More of a sinker slider pitcher. Fastball is 88-93 range. Slider also throws a cut fastball.
19th round pick by the Royals out of USC 2012. The Orioles purchased him from Kansas City back in April. And then the A's picked him off waivers. That was last year of April. Picked him off waivers this year. Ball on the third base side. Healy comes charging in, bare hands it, throws on to first, and got him. Nice play by the third baseman. As Albert will end up at third.
Healy's always possessed a very strong throwing arm. Needed all that arm to be able to throw at Simmons. A perfect bunt, but a firm throw to first base just gets Simmons by half a step. You see that baseball in the glove as the foot comes down by Simmons. Very good play by Healy at third, but also a sac bunt by Simmons to advance Albert to third.
Infield in, here's G-Man Choi. Choi with a walk and a strikeout.
That's the pitch that Graven got him out with, that slider down and in. You might see a steady diet of that.
Fastball grounded over to short. Semien thought about coming home. The play goes to first. Albert scores. The Angels extend their lead to 6-4, and Choi will get credited with an RBI.
The contact play worked perfectly for Albert. Able to score on that ground ball just enough as far as the backhand and a tough hop that forced Semien to throw the ball to first base. Probably a good decision. That would have been an off-balance throw to the plate.
Choi picks up his 6th run batted in.
Simmons, big provider now by having that bunt down the third base line. It allowed Albert to get the third and scores on an infield out.
There's Jeffrey Marte. A fly out and a home run.
So the Angels have scored 1 in the second, 1 in the third, 2 in the fourth, 2 so far here in the 5th. Talked about how well this offense has rolled since the All-Star break.
All 6 runs charged to Kendall Graveman. The book closed on him now. Matches a season high as far as runs allowed. It's the 3rd time that has happened. First since May 8th against the Orioles. 1-1. A funky slider, an arm slot for him,
especially for a right-handed batter against him. You don't see the baseball until the very end.
Two balls, 2 strikes. Triggs at AAA Nashville this year. 2-1 mark, 2.95 ERA in 16 games. Couple of saves. Graveman looking on. Boy, just missed a hanging slider, popped him up. Semien, the shortstop, calling for it. And the 5th is in the books, but the Angels snap the tie. They scored twice. We'll head to the 6th inning with the Angels up 6-4.
Baseball, as the pennant race is getting even closer. Detroit wins 2-1. They've won 8 in a row. Houston loses to Toronto 3-1. Boston down early on. Seattle 2-0. Let's take a look at our game break in Chicago Wrigley Field. Chicago Cubs win the old-fashioned way on the wild pitch. The other day they tied a game up on a wild pitch, eventually win on a squeeze bunt. This time they win the game on a wild pitch just a bit outside. Looked like one of my wild pitches there. I think that was a plan. He was trying to hit the backstop to bring it back to the catcher to get the play at the plate.
No wonder you're excited about that highlight.
Yes, I love the wild pitch.
Reminds you of a young you.
That was
Torrey
always
Hunter
fun.
used to say.
Oh yeah, that was the best ever when he talked about Peter Borges running down a fly ball to right center field. Reminded me of a young me.
Ball and a strike on Billy Butler. 1 for 2. Two balls and a strike. 80th pitch of the night for Jared. 54 have been strikes. This one's out toward right field. Cole is there. One down. This copyrighted telecast is presented by authority of the Los Angeles Angels. It may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form, and the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of Angels Baseball LP. One out, nobody on, and Simeon, the shortstop, up. The A shortstop 0 for 2 with a couple of fly ball outs. This one's pulled foul. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Off speed, hit to short. 2 down.
Second baseman, number 8, LOWRIE.
8 outs via the ground ball tonight for Weaver. Generally, when you think about Weaver, the lowest ground ball percentages in Major League Baseball, but he's worked that ground ball tonight at times when he's needed it. Look at that, 29.3%, the lowest ground ball percentage in Major League Baseball this year for Weaver, but 6 outs via the ground ball tonight.
One lifted to left. Joy racing back, stops, puts it away. A 1-2-3 shutdown inning for Jared Weaver. We'll head to the bottom of the 6th with the Angels on top. 30 Angels live will kick things off as Ricky Nolasco will make his Angels debut. Then it's out on a three-city trip. Mariners for 3, Cubs for 2, and then the Cleveland Indians for 4. Carlos Perez takes a strike to lead off the bottom of the 6th.
Saturday should be really cool up in Seattle. They're having a big ceremony for Ken Griffey Jr. retiring his number.
Yeah. Hour-long ceremony. One ball, one strike. Carlos 1 for 2 with a single and a ground out. Oakland with 4 runs, 9 hits, 4 men left on base. The Angels 6 runs, 9 hits, an error, and 4 left on base as well. Ground ball. Broke his bat. Jed Lowrie in the middle of the infield throws down Carlos for the first out.
And we were talking about in between innings too. KHRIS kind of reminds us of Lewis Coleman, who used to be with the Royals, now with the Dodgers. To disappoint that arm angle he throws at. Sinker, slider type pitcher, cut fastball.
One out, nobody on. Cliff Pennington at the plate. Pennington 1 for 2 with a fly out and a home run. Home run is 2nd of the year. The Angels with action in their bullpen would lead you to believe that Jared Weaver's night has come to an end after 6. They hold a scare up, first man up.
I saw him walk up from the dugout going up the tunnel. I didn't know if he was going up there just to change his shirt on a hot night like tonight, or that was going to be it for Weave. See with that, especially the breaking ball from KHRIS, it's going to run right into a left-handed swing. And the batters against KHRIS this year hitting .320.
Chopper toward the shortstop area. That's Healy, the third baseman, with the shift on, throwing out Cliff for 2. Second out, pardon me. MLB.TV Premium, the #1 live streaming sports service, delivers everything you've come to expect and more. Watch every out-of-market game live in HD on over 400 supported devices. Includes a free subscription to AppBat Premium, the #1 app for live baseball. Blackout and other restrictions apply. Just go to MLB.TV for details. Two out, nobody on for YUNEL ESCOBAR, who's had a 1 for 3 game. Three balls, no strikes. Calhoun on deck.
Taken all the way in that 3-0 pitch. Especially that location, the fastball. He would probably love that exact location so he can drive the ball middle way.
3-1. Lays off, and it's ball 4. So Cole will get an opportunity here with a man on.
Right fielder number 56, Cole Calder.
Cole tonight 0 for 3. Strike out, a fly out, and a ground out. The fly out, deep center field. All of a sudden, Triggs can't find the strike zone. Taylor's trying to add to their 2-run lead. 6-4 here in the 6th.
Cole is 3 for 20 on this homestand, but this is the perfect pitcher for Cole to get that swing together and drive a baseball, pick up a hit. Good count now to do some damage. 2-0.
Cole rips this one into the shift once again. Lowrie's there. And this inning is in the books. We'll head to the 7th with the Angels up 6-4. Have Southern section covered like no one else. Friday, August 26th on Prime Ticket. Mater Dei, ranked 6th in the nation by Max Preps, takes on Bishop Amat in the 4th game of the week. Streaming live on Prep Zone, available on Fox Sports Go app. You can catch even more action, including Santa Margarita and Mission Viejo. Go Eagles. And Chaminade.
Go Eagles.
At Oaks Christian. Mark your calendar to be with us Friday, August 26th at 7 p.m.
We'll be singing Fly Eagles Fly for both of them.
Whoa. Tap the brakes there, son. Tap the brakes. Couple of changes for the Angels on the defensive side. Shane Robinson comes into the game. He's in left field. That moves G-Man Choi from left over to first base. So Jeffrey Marte no longer in the game. And Deolis Garib comes into the game for Jared Weaver. 23rd game, 2-0 record at 2.78 ERA. First one's in for a strike.
It's a changeup from Garrett, a very good plus changeup. Fastball is going to be 90-91 range slider, but a very good changeup.
Ryan Healy, the third baseman, 1 for 2. He doubled off the glove of Mike Trout on the warning track in right center field, bringing home 2 runs as the breaking ball misses low. Jared Weaver tonight, 6 innings, 9 hits, 4 runs, 3 earned, 1 strikeout, no walks. Bouncer foul. Gare last pitched against Boston on Sunday, hitting in a third. Now with 2 strikeouts. 2-2. This is lined down toward right center field. Trout's not going to get there. It'll go to the wall. Healy on his way to second with his second double of the game.
Center fielder.
You can hear the Ryan Healy cheering section somewhere on the first base side.
It's his 5th double, 2nd of the game.
Leadoff man on board to start the 7th for Oakland. KHRIS coming up now. One for 3. Also picked up a stolen base. Snap throw to second on a back pick, and Healy alertly gets back. Escobar in on the grass at third, guarding against the bunt. And that is lined to right field. Cole comes in, he'll make the catch. Healy's not going anywhere.
What a throw. I don't blame him. Cole charged that one well, a line drive from Crisp. And a couple real good throws in this game. Talked about 6 outfield assists for Cole this year. Base runners aren't taking that extra base against him anymore. Gold Glove winner, right field 2015 for Cole Calhoun. It's a big out. That ball was hit very well by KHRIS.
Muncy, a big swing and a foul back.
And it's great to see Simmons. He got in front of that throw, make sure he was going to keep that from getting away potentially on the one hop. It gets away from Escobar potentially and allows Healy to advance. Simmons just seems to be everywhere defensively.
One ball, one strike. Muncy 1 for 3 with a ground out, a single, and another ground out. Good off-speed pitch. 1-2. Muncy goes down swinging, 2 down.
That is a great changeup. It's the whole arm action that Guerra has on his changeup that makes it so effective. As a hitter, you're thinking fastball. And then it's 81 miles an hour. Well out in front, Muncy thinking fastball instead of beating a 90-mile-an-hour fastball because it's the same exact arm slot as the heater. change up at 81 and get a swing and miss.
Stephen Vogt takes downstairs. One for 3 tonight. Two balls, no strikes. Now the light wave is back, Gooby. It's trying to make a resurgence.
Yeah, we haven't seen that a whole lot this year.
It's going pretty good right now.
I think everyone's with their phones looking around for Pokemon Go.
Yeah. That's still a thing, huh?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
It's awesome because it heats up the Wi-Fi here.
Yes.
Three balls, no strikes. Chris Davis on deck. This guy you want to go after right here.
Good fastball. Outer part of the strike zone from Garrett.
Three 1. Full count. Couple of right-handers. Axford and Hendricks. Hendricks on the left, Axford on the right. Healy with a leadoff double, still at second base with 2 outs. 3-2 pitch. Got him to foul this one off. Expanded his zone too a little bit.
By the way, with the 6 innings pitched for Weaver, now 3rd on the all-time list as far as innings pitched in an Angel uniform.
Another payoff on the way, and Vogt goes down swinging. Nothing coming across for Oakland. Stretch time here at the Big A. 6-4 Halos.
Ricky Nolasco will make his debut as an Angel tomorrow night. 33-year-old born in Corona. 104 career wins Also 2-1 in his career versus Oakland with 3.33 ERA for Ricky Nolasco. Looking forward to it. He said a lot of his family and friends used to wear that blue color uniform at one point. Now excited to wear that red of Angel baseball.
Trout to lead things off. Takes a slider outside for ball one. Trout, Pujols, and Simmons for the Angels here in the bottom of the seventh. Andrew Triggs still in this game. He's worked 2 innings so far. Trout 2 for 3, a couple of singles and a strikeout.
It's one of those hanging sliders, inner part of the plate. Trout has not homered since July 18th. Does have 2 hits in this game, a run scored and an RBI.
Slider pulled to left, and it's a leadoff single.
Designated hitter, number 5.
To bring up Albert. He's had a multi-hit game.
Stayed back on this, break a ball very, very well. Inner part of the plate, foot down, that high leg kick, brings his hands in, barrel of the bat, lines it in the left field for his 3rd hit of the game. Amazing how he's able to get that foot down as his timing mechanism to be able to clear that hip area, to be able to drive that baseball to left field. What a quick swing path he has.
Albert with a single and a double. The double just his 12th of the year. It's 595th of his career. He's now 1 shy of tying Luis Gonzalez for 16th all time.
Trout was going last time Albert was up.
Count evened up at a ball and a strike.
2 have combined for 5 hits. Couple RBIs, couple runs scored tonight between Trout and Pujols.
Stayed away with a fastball. 1-2. Pujols now with 1,780 career runs batted in. Frank Robinson, 20th all time with 1,812. And he chases the breaking ball, 1 down.
Speaking of that last time when Trout was at first and Albert at the plate, Trout did a very good job as far as everything right here. He's going on the pitch. He picks up exactly where Ron Renneke set up because he can hear the baseball hit by Albert, able to pick it up, and then he looks back out at Ron Renneke, stops at the base to make sure that baseball is down, picks him up, and scores easily from first base on that double by Albert. Going on the pitch, Trout was, but able to pick up Renneke not once, but twice as he's able to score that run.
Simmons 1 for 3. Both teams with 10 hits. $37,306 in the house tonight. Mike Trout flick motion cards given away. Chopper toward third. Healy's got it. It's a fair ball. He goes across the diamond, and Alonso can't handle the throw. It goes into the dugout. Healy really upset at himself. Commits his 2nd big league error, and the Angels will have runners at 2nd and 3rd with 1 out.
Right down the 3rd base line. Really a foul ball, unable to get him foot balanced enough to be able to get on that throw, but Alonso let that baseball almost play him also at first base, dealing with the runner going down the line. He's trying to keep his foot on the base and also catch that baseball. Sometimes you're better off served just getting that baseball away from that bag and coming back if you can, instead of trying to stretch awkwardly with the wrong foot.
Simmons with a base hit. The error putting runners at second and third, and G-Man Choi going to draw the intentional walk here. There's the intentional walk. That's going to be it for Triggs, it appears. He will depart with one out, the bases loaded. Bob Bellman's going to go to the bullpen. Liam Hendricks pitching for the second straight night, coming on in relief. Bases loaded for the Angels. Jeffrey Marte, no, actually it'll be Shane Robinson coming up. Halos up 6-4, looking for more here in the bottom of the seventh inning with the bases loaded. Liam Hendricks on a relief for Oakland. 29th game, second consecutive game in the series. 0-2 and a 4.54 ERA. 37 strikeouts, 7 walks in 37 and 2/3 innings. He's going to face Shane Robinson here, with Trout standing at third, Simmons at second, and Choi at first.
Hendricks' fastball is 92-96, slider curve change. Oakland anticipating potentially that Shane Robinson would try to push bunt here, although there would be a force out at home. The safety squeeze is on,
and he bunts it foul. Squeeze was on. And Hendricks alertly running that fastball in on the hands. 0-1 count. Shane hitting .208 through 45 games with the Angels this year. 2 doubles, a home run, 7 runs batted in. Took over left field. Top of the inning.
And Trout read that one well. Look like that baseball might have gotten Robinson on the hand. If he gets that baseball down at all, Trout is going to score. Right on the fingers, it looked like that baseball got him. Adam Neville out along with Mike Scioscia. Right on the hand, square on the hand. The fingers. And 92-mile-an-hour fastball. And you wondered at home if that made any contact with the bat. If it did, barely any. But when you square around like that, your hand is part of the bat, that would be a strike regardless.
If he's pulling the bat back,
yes, then it's a hit by
pitch. Right.
Yep.
But he offered at it. Fouls it. He's looking at the replay. I'm not sure that it actually hit the bat. But it's a strike regardless. He's all right. It's no 1 count. Base is still loaded. Middle infield playing halfway. He chops this one to the left side. Healy's got it. Oh, so they get the 4 shot. That's all they get.
Catcher number 58.
Trout going quickly, but Healy under control. A good firm throw. And that's what the thought process as an infielder there. You're not going to be able to turn 2. Just make sure you have a firm throw to the plate. That's exactly what Healy did. Throw that ball to Vogt to get a force out at home. Remember the other day with Hanley Ramirez, he tried to get 2 on a ground ball similar to that play, running back to the base. Mindset always, first and foremost, is the out at home. If you get a double play, that's a bonus, but you always want to get that force out at home.
Here's Carlos Perez. First pitch swinging, rolls it foul. Carlos 1 for 3 tonight. Carlos fouls it off. 0-2. Check swing. Did not go. 1-2. Simmons over at third. Choi at second. Robinson at first. Popped up. First base side. Yonder Alonso down the line. Fair territory. Angels with the bases loaded. 1-out situation. Cannot add to their lead. We'll head to the 8th inning. 6-4 Angels.
Into the game to pitch for the Angels. trying to hold on to a 6-4 lead over the A's. Top 8, I am Patrick O'Neill. Hope you stick around after this game for Angels Live, presented by your SoCal Mazda dealers. Kingfish, Tim Salmon, Jose Mota, Alex Curry with the interviews, talking about Jared Weaver. How about Trout, Pujols, Marte, Pennington, and as we go here to the 8th, we see Salas in the game. So Victor and Mark, possible we'll see Cam Bedrosian if the save opportunity presents itself, going in back-to-back games.
Yeah, I would think that's certainly the plan as of now for Mike Scioscia. Obviously, we'd love to see some more runs put up when the Angels hit in the bottom of the 8th inning. But if Salas can put up a 0, there's no doubt that Bedrosian will be called upon to be able to close this one out.
Salas pitching in his 48th game, 3-6 mark, a 4.70 ERA. Last pitched on Saturday against Boston, 2/3 of an inning. Total of 17 pitches. He's got Davis, Alonso, and Butler in the 8th for Oakland. And Davis slightly tardy on that fastball. As an 0-1 count. Left fielder tonight, 1 for 3. A single, a strikeout, and a ground out.
1 for 3 against Salas, 2 for Davis. That hit being a home run.
Went around. Terry Cedarstrom needing some help from Eric Cooper. It's 0-2.
I try that exact same pitch. I wouldn't mess around with a fastball against Davis. Try to bounce it.
There's the 1-2. Just off the plate. Watch out. Full count. Getting headed 0-2, and all of a sudden a full count on Davis. Down to Alonso, left-hand hitting first baseman's on deck. Foul back. Everything in baseball a final. The only exception being this game right here. Seattle ended up beating Boston 3-1 up in Seattle. Toronto over Houston 3-1. Game at Minute Maid Park. Texas dropped the game to the Orioles by the final of 3-2. They're playing in Camden Yards. Here it's 6-4 Angels in the 8th, and that is just off the plate. He walked him after getting ahead 0-2. Brings up the tying run in Alonso.
Well, Houston's rotation took a big hit. Lance McCullers Jr. on the disabled list with a little elbow discomfort. He threw the ball exceptionally well against the Angels down in Houston last road trip.
Not overly surprised. I mean, with the amount of sliders, breaking balls that he throws at max effort. That's tough to sustain.
You know, you're throwing a slider at 90-92.
Alonso breaks his bat, loops it foul. 0-1 count on the first baseman. He's 2 for 3 today with a couple of singles. High fastball. Trying to expand the zone. No balls, 2 strikes. Davis not a threat to run, or at least he hasn't been this year. 1 for 2 in the stolen base category. Down goes Alonso, one away.
Great changeup there from Fernando Salas. After a high fastball, came back with a changeup, outer part of the plate. Alonso out in front of him, unable to make contact.
Butler 1 for 3. Double play candidate. Will take a strike.
Rolled into one earlier in the game. Weaver with 2 more ground ball double plays turned behind him. 15 this season for Weaver. Turned behind him as far as ground ball double plays.
0-2. That's not a bad total for a guy that seldom gets guys to put the ball on the ground.
Yeah, when he's on his game, Weave, he's throwing that changeup and curveball, getting hitters out in front, popping the baseball up in the infield.
Oh, 2. Down low. Ball and 2 strikes. Halos in the bottom of the 8th have 9-1 and 2 coming up in Pennington, Escobar, and Calhoun. Some movement going on in the A's pen.
Alfredo knocked that one down. There's Doe up in the bullpen for Oakland.
Ground ball to the right side. That'll sneak through for a base hit. Davis will stop at second. Pretty good piece of hitting by Butler as he finds the hold. The tying run over at first. Marcus Semien coming up.
And a pinch runner for Butler if he stayed back on this breaking ball and hit that ball very well the other way. Two hits in the game for Butler. Smolinski pinch running for him.
Marcus Semien's 0 for 3. Takes upstairs.
Pretty good pitch, upper part of the strike zone, did not get called.
Fernando getting the 8th inning tonight. Dale Oscara pitched the 7th, a couple of strikeouts. Weaver ended up going 6 innings tonight. 4 runs, 3 earned, 1 strikeout. No walks, 9 hits allowed. He's looking for his 9th win. One and 2.
Well located fastball inside corner. Although that's the pitch though that Semien has real good power, fastball in. And he does have a lot of power. 22 home runs this season for the youngster.
1-2. Down low. 2 balls, 2 strikes. JC Ramirez now up and loosening for the Angels. Two. Semien fouls it back. Mike Scioscia looking on, trying to get Fernando Salas through this 8th inning unscathed. It's been a tough go for Fernando of late. Tied him up, fouled off the body.
When he ran that one in off the leg, right above the knee area.
Sink action. That is tough as a hitter once you commit to swing to that pitch. Try to bring the hands in and almost swing like you're in a telephone booth.
Yeah, and there's nothing you can do except for pull it foul, and that time he pulls it off his leg.
I feel like you go back in there, right, with the fastball in.
Yeah, I think that's what you got to try to do. And you would think Simeon's going to look in.
2-2. Went away. Back pick at first. Smolinski back safely. Now full count.
It's a big pitch right here now for Salas and the Angels.
Runners don't go. 3-2, fouled back.
And he had a good swing at that fastball. Up in the strike zone, inner half.
How much confidence would you have in Fernando Salas right now throwing that changeup?
I'm throwing changeup or slider, one of the two. He was on that fastball.
Davis at second, Smolinski the pinch runner at first, another 3-2, and he goes to the breaking ball, gets away from Carlos. Runners will advance via the walk, and they're loaded up now. But the tying run standing at second, that's going to be it for Salas. So his struggles continue. Ended up just going a third of an inning. So JC Ramirez has to come in to try to get the Angels out of this. It's 6-4 Halos in the eighth, but Oakland with them loaded up.
Close it down, baby.
Oakland, you're 6-4 with one out here in the top eight. Bases loaded though. JC Ramirez in the game for the Angels. His 19th game, 1-0 record. ERA 2.95 has stranded 9 of the 11 inherited runners so far this year. It's at 82% for Ramirez. Tough spot to be in.
Davis standing at third, Smolinski at second, Simeon at first. Jet Lowry will be the batter. Tough night for J.C. Ramirez last night. 3 hits in 1 inning, 2 runs. 2 runs coming off of 1 swing of the bat by Yonder Alonso.
Lowrie has rolled into 10 double plays.
First pitch swinging, fouls it back. All 3 base runners, of course, belonging to Fernando Salas. Going a 1/3 of an inning. Outfield fairly shallow all the way around, especially Shane Robinson at left. The 1 off the plate. Nineteenth game with the Angels for J.C. Ramirez after pitching 27 with the Cincinnati Reds. Everything's been out of the bullpen for Ramirez. 1-1. Foul tipped into the mid. One-two pulled down the line, foul.
Talk about how close this series has been since 2002 versus Oakland. Angels with 7 more victories, but the same amount of runs scored during that stretch since 2002. So many close games between the Angels and the Athletics. Unbelievable when you think about it. The same exact number of runs scored.
This time Lowrie breaks his bat. Count remains at 1-2. Tried the breaking ball this time. Two balls, 2 strikes. Ryan Healy, the third baseman's on deck.
2-2 count. With the bases loaded, you have options. 3-2. It's going to be a fastball. So a very important pitch here for Ramirez.
2-2. Full count. Payoff, and he walked in a run. It is 6-5 Angels. Borderline pitch misses. And Lowrie will get credited with an RBI. So now it's a 1-run lead.
It's a little bit off the outside corner, though. Carlos tried to bring that one back.
Tyler Ladendorf pinch running for Lowrie at second base. Base is still loaded, 1 out. Here's Healy, 2 for 3 with a couple of doubles. On the corner for a strike. Both doubles for Healy out toward the alley in right center field. Trout still playing shallow, as is Robinson in left. Ground ball toward the left side. Escobar has it. Low throw, dug out by Pennington. They turn the double play. Wow!
What a stretch by Choi at first. Thought there was no chance with that slight little bobble. What a turn. What a stretch by Choi at first. See a little bit of a bobble. The low throw scoop and quickly gets rid of it, but the stretch and the double play.
What a double play. Turned really by Cliff Pennington at second base to catch the low throw and get rid of it that quickly. And then the stretch at first by G-Man Choi. Pennington swinging first pitch, bounces one back to Hendricks, and there's out number one.
We'll just go back to this play right now, and you know, Escobar bobbled it a little bit, a low throw, not only a low throw, a good scoop, and then getting rid of it quickly like Pennington did, but the stretch itself outstanding by G-Man Choi. Gets Healy by a stride at first. What a play though by Pennington. That's not an easy play. Short hop like that at second, but the stretch by Choi. 5-4-3 double play.
Yunel Escobar's 1 for 3 on the night. Fouls the first one back. Cam Bedrosian getting ready to pitch the ninth. Oakland will have the top of its order due up, and Crisp, Muncy, and Vogt. Leidendorf, by the way, stays in the game at second base. This one's out towards center field. Coco backs up a couple of steps, 2 down.
And going back to that double play turn on the low throw, the takeout at second base. Again, because you're going at the base. Pennington had it, yeah, it would have been real close. Because that was a late slide, but because he's at the base, who knows if that would have been what the old saying with the bona fide slide at second. But well done by Pennington to be able to scoop that throw and then throw across the diamond.
Calhoun swinging first pitch, fouls it off. 0 for 4 tonight. Hit the ball hard a couple of times though. Lifted out toward shallow left field. Chris Davis comes in. Angels down in order here in the bottom of the 8th. We will head to the 9th. Camp Pedrosian looking to lock it down for the 2nd straight night. Angels up 6-5. Off to Camp Pedrosian for the 2nd straight night. Cam's looking to pick up the save. Picked up his first big league save last night and did so in grand fashion. 17 pitches, 3 strikeouts. Up that first career save. And tonight he'll be facing the top of the order trying to pick up career save number 2 with Chris Muncy and both coming up. These are the scheduled batters. See what Bob Melvin decides to do. Coco tonight 1 for 4. First one in for a strike. Everything tonight by Coco Crisp is hit out toward right field. Trying to turn on it. Good breaking ball.
That's an unbelievable spot for that breaking ball.
Yes, he did. 1-2. Just off the plate. 2 balls, 2 strikes.
Fastball a little bit off the outside corner. Now you could drop that curveball on the outside corner now. Keep it down and away.
Full count. Max Muncy on deck. Here's a 3-2. Coco shoots this one to left field. A leadoff single to start the top of the ninth.
Any stolen base threat now at first base. Chris hit a stolen base earlier in the game, 6 on the season.
Muncy 1 for 4 tonight. Cam, no stranger to working on the back-to-back days. He's done it a couple of times this year. The last time being on the 24th and 25th of July at Houston and then at Kansas City. Mentioned through just 17 pitches last night. That's on the corner for a strike. Not a big lead for Crisp at first, at least not yet. 2-1. Trying to pitch to that big side of the field, a big part of the ballpark. Last night a little bit more aggressive, coming right after guys.
Especially in his feel for his breaking ball was outstanding.
It's a missile over to first base. Three and one now. Again, just trying to paint on the outside part of the plate. Coco on that last pitch, like he was trying to gauge Bedrosian. Almost got a running start. Coco takes off. Pitch is fouled back. Full count.
Well, the thing when you're watching that play right there is Coco was going, Simmons trying to deke him there, and he's going running right through the base. That's the thing about Simmons. He will not give in on any play. His instincts outstanding. Coco is just going straight through there, thinking about going all the way to third base. That's lined at somebody. That's an easy double play. Carlos has thrown out 39% of would-be base stealers this year. Go for that, strike him out, throw him out.
Coco doesn't go, and then Muncy works the walk. So the first two have reached to start the ninth. The tying run down scoring position. And Bedrosian's command, spotty at best. 12 pitches, 7 out of the zone. And Nagy's going to come out and pay a visit. Salas in the eighth with Salas, and even Ramirez before JC got the ground down. It turned into a double play to get out of the eighth. Deep count on Coco Crisp. Now a walk to Muncy.
Got to bury that look back at second base also. Crisp over the years been very good as far as stealing third base if he can time the pitcher the right way. Vogt has rolled into 4 double plays. And the Angels have turned 3 in this game already.
Stephen Vogt 1 for 4. The one was a single back in the 5th. Struck out his last time up in the 7th. That was against Deola Skira. Took something off, and it's in there for a strike. Oh, 1. This is lined to left center field. It's a base hit. This game is going to be tied at 6. Muncy falls down, and they've got him in a rundown. Just run him all the way back since VOGT just took second base. 1 down. But a blown save for Cam Bedrosian. No win for Jared Weaver. It's a 6-6 tie.
Stay back on this one well. Fastball down. Lines it into left center field. And Muncy a little bit too aggressive. That's a big out for the Angels.
Go ahead run standing at second. And Chris Davis takes a breaking ball low. One for 3 tonight. VOGT, by the way, picks up his 31st RBI.
First run that Cam Bedrosian has allowed since May 31st.
Two balls, 1 strike. The Angels have Mike Moore loosening in the pen now. There's Mike. 2-1. 3-1. Command just not there for Bedrosian tonight. There's a 3-1. And there's a walk. The second of the inning. That may be off Bedrosian. Yonder Alonso's due up. We'll let him go a little bit further. Nagy finding out if Morin's ready to go.
Yeah, I think if he's ready, Mike Scioscia may indeed. On the mound, but no, he's going to give Cam an opportunity to get out of this inning.
19 pitches, 11 balls, 8 strikes. 2 on, 1 out. And Alonso at the plate. 2 for 4 tonight with a couple of singles. Stephen VOGT tying things up on a base at the left. It scored Coco Crisp from second. One ball, 1 strike. Handles in the bottom of the 9th have Trout, Pujols, and Simmons due up. Trying to get Cam to get through this inning. Worst case scenario being a tie game. That's in tight, 2-1.
His release point not as good as we've seen. Didn't follow through on that fastball. And back-to-back nights. Warm nights. Not quite as crisp tonight for Cam Bedrosian.
Danny Valencia's come out to the on-deck circle. Jake Smolinski was out there, but he's been called back. Breaking ball.
Now that was a good breaking ball from Cam. That's been his pitch during this stretch. He's been able to get back into counts.
Two. Rolled foul. Stephen Vogt, by the way, who had the RBI single that tied this game up, now 4 for 5 in his career against Bedrosian. But Coco led off this inning with a base at the left. Vogt at second, Davis at first. That's a borderline pitch.
Yeah, that
doesn't get called.
Yeah, that could have been called a strike there. That's the lower part of the strike zone.
Difficult though, I mean, considering Cam's been around the plate, or has not been around the plate consistently in tonight's game. 3-2. Check swing, and
that's in the strike zone though.
Didn't go.
Again, that's in the strike zone, that breaking ball.
That's the third walk of the inning for Cam Bedrosian. That's going to be it. And with the bases loaded and 1 out, Danny Valencia coming up as we take a look at that pitch once again.
And look at our Fox tracks. Not only is it a strike, it's well in the strike zone. Again, it's not where the catcher catches the baseball when it crosses the front of the plate, and that is clearly a strike. Back-to-back strikes that were not called.
So Cam unable to close it out for the Angels. Mike Moore trying to keep it at a 6-6 tie. He's coming on in relief. Here with the bases loaded and 1 out, issuing 3 walks. Just the second time in his career that he's issued 3 or more walks. His career high is 4. And that was in his second big league game of his career back in 2014. So it's up to Mike Moore to try to keep this a 6-6 game. 36th ball game this year with the Angels. 1-1 record of 4.93 ERA. They've been pitching at AAA. 11 games there for the 360 earned run average. Stephen Vogt over at third base. Chris Davis at second. And you got Yonder Alonso at first. It's Danny Valencia pinch hitting for Jake Smolinski, who came in as a pinch runner for Billy Butler. That was in the 8th. First pitch, breaking ball for a strike. Valencia 302 batting average this year through 80 games, 13 home runs, 38 RBIs as a pinch hitter this season, 0 for 1. Check swing, come back into the mound. Moore to Perez for one. The relay back to first. A 1-2-3 inning-ending double play. So Bedrosian gives up the run. Moore keeps it as such. It's a 6-6 tie as we head to the bottom of the ninth, and Trout due to lead things off. And there'll be a new pitcher for the Oakland A's, but overall, nice job by Mike Moore and Danny Valencia. That's a change piece in on the hand.
Jammed him on a changeup. A 1-2-3 changeup. Tried to hold up on the swing. Under control. Exactly what you want. That force out at home, the most important one. And then the double play, because it's difficult getting out of the batter's box for Valencia as he was jammed on the changeup.
Ryan Dole, the right-hander, on in relief.
He has been very good. Mike Trout, we mentioned, has not homered since July 18th. Last walk-off home run for Trout, July 17th of last year against Boston.
Dole pitching in his 50th game, 5-2 mark, a 1.98 ERA. 55 strikeouts, 10 walks at 54 and 2/3 innings. Trout 1 for 4 in his brief career against Ryan Dole. Doesn't waste a whole lot of time. The first one's a little breaking ball off the plate for ball one. Pujols on deck, then Simmons. Mike 3 for 4 with 3 singles.
Back-to-back sliders. Dole fastballs 88 to 92. See his slider, changeup.
One pitch. Trout grounds one to the left side. Healy's got it. Across the diamond. High throw. Trout goes into the dive and he is safe at first. Hopefully he didn't hurt himself. But he avoids the tag of Yonder Alonso. And that'll be an error on Healy as Melvin looks in, and we'll take a look at the replay.
Hopefully Trout is okay. Healy with the high throw. And Trout sees the high throw, trying to avoid a tag. Didn't look like he tagged him.
Nope.
Got the finger on the base. Not only is he trying to avoid contact, but also had to redirect as he goes to first. He's safe on that one.
Never got him.
As Trout doing what Trout does. Amazing things. Avoids the tag. No tag.
That's the second error by Healy tonight. Albert takes low. Pujols today 2 for 4. Double and an RBI. Albert's 0 for 4 in his career against Dole.
Albert with 18 career walk-off hits.
Quick throw to first. Trout's back.
Trout not much of a lead yet.
Two balls, no strikes.
And that threat of a stolen base forcing Dole to be a little bit quicker to the plate. 2 in a row out of the strike zone. Trout with 17 stolen bases on the season, has been caught twice.
Trout's on the move. Albert flips it foul. Albert chasing what would have been ball 3. Trout will head back to first.
Trout didn't have a great jump on that one either. Dole had a little bit of a quick pitch on him, on both Pujols and Trout.
Three and one.
See how quick he is to the plate. Just kind of leans towards home.
Simmons on deck. Bill, the 26-year-old North Carolina native, A's 32nd round pick in 2012. Went to the big leagues for 13 games last year, as we mentioned, pitching in his 50th this year. Healy guarding the line at third. Trout takes off, and that is hammered out the left. Drive home safely.
And Albert slides in. That, folks, is the machine going walk-off. His 19th time in his career for Albert Pujols to walk off. You talk about a major home run for Albert Pujols. What a shot. Fastball count, fastball thrown, and fastball crushed by Albert. He's done this a few times in his career, and he knows it. And that baseball is way out for Albert Pujols.
581st career home run. A 2-run shot, and it makes Mike Morin a winner tonight as the Angels make it 2 in a row against the Oakland A's. Let's go down to the field. Alex Curry with Albert Pujols.
Albert, this team battled the entire game to come back and take the lead. You in walk-off style. What did you see from this team tonight?
Well, what I'm seeing all year long, you know, we don't give up. We know it's a tough game, and we just come ready to play every day. We lost that lead in the ninth, you know, but we got the middle of the lineup coming up, and Trout did a great job getting on base, and I just try to get a good pitch to drive him in.
And it seems like every night another guy is stepping up to help this team get the win. Tonight, Mike Morin coming in and shutting down the ninth. What's it like to see a different guy really step up and help this team each night?
You know, that's how you win a lot of games. You know, you got guys every day. You know, guys stepping up every night, taking opportunities, and JEFRY got a big hit too last night and tonight again. And our bullpen did a great job, but we just don't give up. It's a long season, and we're enjoying every day we come to the ballpark and we're in this uniform. And the fans, you know, supporting us every night.
And you can really see that. You can see the smiles and the joy amongst all you guys. Congratulations on a huge walk-off win, Albert.
Thank you very much.
Angels take game 2 in walk-off style. A monster home run by Albert Pujols. Stick around for Angels Live next with Patrick O'Neill, Tim Salmon, and Jose Mota as they break down this Angels win.